starting now. This is your local news leader, News 10 ABC at noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm News 10 ABC's Anthony Krolikowski, sitting in for Christina Arangio. We begin this noon following the developing situation at a fire in Gloversville. The flames out now, but fire crews remain on scene. For the latest, we have our Laura Taglianetti live on the scene. Laura, what are you learning so far?
Anthony, yeah, we're here. Firefighters telling me they were called to the scene just after 2:30 in the morning last night. I'm with Chief Tom Groff from the fire department here, and he's going to tell me what they found when they got here last night.
It basically light smoke coming from the west side of the building. They investigated, they gained access and went into a stairwell and found most of the majority of fire was on the second floor. They attempted to make entry down the hallway, but it was just too much. So they pulled out and went into defensive operations, and then it went all downhill from there.
So when we got here, there was still fire in the back of that building. Everything now seems to be under control. They're just kind of putting out small spots. If you can see this video, that's what we saw last night. The flames are just completely engulfing the structure here. So yeah, it was burning like that for hours. Finally out now. Was there anyone in the building?
We don't think so, but we have to make a final determination. Nobody was staying in the building, obviously. There are people, we had problems with people gaining access and vandals, and the city has tried to board it up and keep people out, but they're very persistent. So we're not aware of anybody being in there, but we're going to find out for sure over the next few hours.
Yeah, so this building was a tailor-made factory up until a couple of years ago, and it's been mostly used for storage now. But residents on the block told me they've had an issue with homeless people gaining access to the building. A few weeks ago, a contractor told me here they had boarded up the building, so they don't think anyone is inside there, but firefighters still have to go in and finish up the investigation. We're waiting for a press release from police. We should be getting that later in the afternoon, but we'll be out here, Anthony, ready to tell you what we find out and figure out more of what's going on here as the day goes on. Back to you.
That's quite the aftermath, Laura. Thank you for keeping on top of that. Before we get to our other top stories, let's take a quick check at the forecast. Here's meteorologist Rob Lindemuth celebrating 6 years here at the station. Hey there, Rob.
Hey there, Anthony. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, never would have thought 6 years ago coming in here, meeting everybody that I'd still be here, you know, but it's fun, you know. You fall in love with the place, so.
Maybe I'll catch up to you one day.
Yeah, you know, and the people here, it's more like family as opposed to co-workers, so that always makes things a little bit easier. Weather-wise today, it all depends on where you are. The further north you are, the more sunshine you're seeing. That's the view from Glens Falls from the Queensbury Hotel right now. Lots of sunshine, just a couple of clouds mixed in there from time to time. A totally different story as you make your way towards the Mohawk Valley. There's Amsterdam. It's mostly cloudy or overcast there, and unfortunately, Mohawk Valley southbound, very limited sunshine expected for today, and we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. So one of those patterns where it's what you see is what you get. Temperatures right now, 69 here in Albany, 72 in Saratoga, 68 in Glens Falls, 69 at Bennington, Pittsfield 64, Hudson 67, Cobleskill 63, and Lake Pleasant at 64. It is feeling nice out there despite the lack of sunshine. Those dew points in the low to mid 50s out there this afternoon. This time yesterday, we were near 70 degrees, so that air was feeling very, very heavy. Not the case today. Stubborn clouds, basically Mohawk Valley or I-90 southbound, brighter skies to the north of that, and temperatures where the sunshine is should make their way maybe a little bit warmer than what we're expecting for everywhere else. High temperatures today, we did have to lower these just a couple of degrees, thinking 75 in Albany, 72 in Galway, 72 at Averill Park, and Schaghticoke, 74 degrees. Another day tomorrow in the clouds, and then we'll run the risk for some scattered showers and storms on Saturday. But will we dry out for the rest of the Labor Day weekend? I'll let you know with a look at that full storm tracker 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit. Anthony?
Thank you, Rob. New at noon, the driver who hit and killed a man in Queensbury last year has now been sentenced. The Warren County DA's office says 34-year-old Peter Northrup Jr. of Hudson Falls will serve 2 to 6 years in prison. He admitted to hitting 30-year-old Shane Winchell on Burke Drive in December and then driving away without reporting it or calling for help. Winchell had 6 children. He died at the scene. There was also an apartment fire this morning on Sunset Avenue in Albany. Albany Fire Department says the call came in around 6 a.m. and crews believe the fire began in the attic. The fire was quickly put out and no one was in the home at that time. Responders say it seems the apartment was under renovations. An investigation is open, but no cause of the fire has been determined. An eastbound lane on Western Avenue near Eagle Point Elementary School will be closed while responders are still on the scene. A second arrest being made in connection to the robbery at Dick's House of Sport in Latham. 21-year-old Lyric Jones is being charged with robbery, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon. She has been remanded to Albany County Correctional Facility with bail. This comes after a group of 5 people assaulted a father and son who had just purchased a limited edition pair of Nike Air Jordans. Over the weekend, 19-year-old Kyle Folks was arrested in connection with the crime. Police are urging anyone with additional information to contact the Colony Police Department at the number listed right there on your screen or submit an anonymous tip to Capital Region Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, a 25-year-old man from India has been identified as the victim of a drowning in Lake George. Emergency crews from multiple agencies responding to reports of a swimmer in distress around 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. New at noon, officials in Schenectady County are lifting the boil water order that had been in place in Rotterdam. Residents on Douglas Ave as well as Curry Road between Altamont and Douglas Avenues are advised to flush their water lines for at least 5 minutes to clear the lines of any contaminated water. Looking ahead, a local burger joint celebrating their 1-year anniversary with a very special offer. Irby's Burgers in Schenectady having a free burger day on Thursday, September 12th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. To get a free burger, you must be following Irby's Burgers on social media and tag the eatery in a post during Free Burger Day. There is also a 1 burger limit per customer. The Saratoga Springs Preservation Foundation kicking off its 2024 Autumn Sunday Stroll season. This year's seasonal walks step off next weekend through the end of October. These historic walking tours will happen every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. in various neighborhoods throughout the city. Tours will highlight the Gut neighborhood, mail-order houses on the east side, the diversity of the historic west side, mansions of North Broadway, and much, much more. To learn all about what's happening, go over to news10.com. Today was day 4 on our News 10 backpack giveaway. Stephanie Rivas and Ireland Walker were out at Henry Hudson Riverfront Park in Hudson handing out all those backpacks all morning long. Take a look.
We have officially wrapped up here in Hudson for the 4th day of our backpack giveaway. We got rid of all 250 of our backpacks. And we met some amazing families too. The thing that we heard time and time again here in the Hudson area is people are born and raised here and they are so proud of their community. Again, it was a great backpack giveaway for day 4, but we're not done just yet. So tomorrow, Ryan and Ireland are going to be in Glens Falls at East Field. So you have one more day to get your backpack. Starting off at 6 a.m. We're giving out 250 of them. But again, I'm Stephanie Rivas reporting here in Hudson, and this is
Ireland Walker with News 10 ABC.
Our morning team will be at one more spot in the Capital Region after today. Backpacks will be handed out between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. or until supplies last. For more details on locations and times, you can visit news10.com. The race for the White House growing more intense as both candidates get their message out to voters. When we return, hear from the response from the Trump campaign following an incident at Arlington National Cemetery as Harris travels to a battleground state. The latest from both sides when we return. And here's a look at what's happening at the track today. Gates open at 11. Post time is just after 1. The featured race is the With Anticipation Stakes. And don't forget, here's a look at what you can watch tonight right here on News 10 ABC. We'll be back with more local news.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio.
Well, welcome back on this Thursday afternoon. If you find yourself north of the Mohawk Valley today, you are enjoying a fantastic afternoon with a lot of sunshine, low humidity, and very comfortable temperatures. If you find yourself south of the valley, unfortunately, you're pretty much socked in with the clouds. There's the view from Lake Desolation right now. Just a couple of clouds floating on by, but a lot of blue sky noted there, and temperatures in the 60s to near 70 degrees. There's the visible satellite imagery, and you can see basically if we were to draw a line from I-90 to Albany, southbound, you are stuck in the clouds. Maybe some breaks of sun from time to time. Looks like maybe some breaks trying to develop in the Hudson Valley here, so maybe we'll get lucky and see at least some sunshine here in Albany. And then our temperatures may actually warm up just a little bit. 68 right now in Colony to East Greenbush, Catskill at 68, 63 in Cobleskill, Hunter at 70, 69 in Ghent, 61 in Peru. Look at Stanford, Vermont. It is a cool day in southern Vermont, 59 degrees this afternoon. Off to the north, temperatures not bad, upper 60s and low to mid 70s, 65 in Broad Alban, 71 Bolton Landing, 72 in Queensbury, and Greenwich checking in with 74 degrees. So today we've got the brighter skies to our north. Unfortunately, not much movement in the atmosphere. That's courtesy of this big area of high pressure here, really not allowing these clouds to move anywhere. So we are stuck with those stubborn clouds right now. Now, unfortunately, you look upstream, and this is going to be heading in our direction. So more of the same for us on Friday, with maybe better chances at breaks of sunshine by Friday afternoon. Now, as we go into the day on Saturday, we're going to notice a push of slightly warmer but also more humid air back into the capital region. It's dry out there today, dew points in the 40s and low 50s. By the time we get into Saturday, we could be talking about dew points back again in the mid to upper 60s. This frontal boundary will be bumping into that, so scattered showers and some thunderstorms will become a little bit more likely during the second half of your Saturday. Here's the futurecast. There's those clouds through this afternoon. They're just not moving anywhere into this evening. As we go overnight tonight, skies remaining mostly cloudy. We'll catch a few clear breaks from time to time, and we can't rule out a couple of showers, especially south of Albany, into Friday morning. Now, as we go during the course of the day on Friday, again, more clouds, and these may be a little bit more expansive than what they are today. So those of you experiencing a nice sunny day, you may cloud up as we go through the day on Friday as well. And then there's that storm system that we'll be watching for the start of the weekend. High temperatures for today, 75 in Albany, 71 in Bennington, Johnstown up to 73, 75 in Hudson, and 74 in Saratoga. Today we're up to 75, lots of sunshine to the north. Unfortunately, stuck in the clouds from the Mohawk Valley southbound. Tonight, we're down to 57 clouds, a few clear breaks. Another comfortable night, though, with low levels of humidity. If you're heading up to the track, not too bad. Some sunshine, very comfortable weather up there with post-time temperatures in the low 70s, and we'll be warming back up into the mid to upper 70s before the day is through. Some sun on Friday, otherwise mostly cloudy, 78. More clouds on Saturday, humid as well. Scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms, 79. Chance of a shower, otherwise mostly dry on Sunday, 84. Breezy, much cooler for Labor Day, 74. Down into the 40s Monday night. A cool day on Tuesday, low 70s. And we're going to warm things up pretty quickly on Wednesday. Partly sunny with temperatures back into the mid to upper 70s. Don't forget, for the latest Storm Tracker weather forecast, you can always download our app. You can check that out on Google Play or the App Store today. Anthony?
Thank you, Rob. Just like with the weather, News 10 is your local election headquarters. Vice President Harris and former President Trump fighting for every vote across the nation's key swing states. Harris and running mate Walz trekking across Georgia today as Trump and Vance are in Michigan and Pennsylvania. But the Republican ticket is also facing criticism for an incident at Arlington National Cemetery. ABC's M. Nugent has the latest.
Today, Vice President Kamala Harris widening the gap between her and former President Trump. Harris energized across southern Georgia this week, hoping to clinch rural votes in a state President Biden narrowly won in 2020. It's a state Trump had been leading, though a new Fox News poll out today shows Harris now up by 2 points. That poll also suggesting she's closing the gap in Arizona, Nevada, and North Carolina. Her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, leaning into his roots in Minnesota.
My previous job to this was, of course, public school teacher and coach, which I wear with pride.
This as Trump hits swing states Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The Trump team now under fire for a recent visit to Arlington National Cemetery. The former president's campaign posting a video of him visiting some of the graves of the 13 service members killed in the attack at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan, despite filming not being allowed in these areas to ensure the military is not politicized. Overnight, a Gold Star family whose loved one's grave is shown speaking out, saying, "We hope that those visiting this sacred site understand that these were real people who sacrificed for our freedom and that they are honored and respected accordingly." The Harris campaign calling the incident sad. Vance fired back at that criticism.
She wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll shows Harris leading Trump nationally by 4 percentage points, a 3-point boost from July. This as Harris sits down for her first interview today as a presidential nominee, joined by Walls. Emlyn, ABC News, Washington.
Be sure to stay with News 10 for all local election coverage, both on air and online at news10.com. Honoring the life and achievements of the pilot killed this summer in a plane crash in Colony. When we return, hear from those who knew her best on how Natalie Gillis' legacy will live on here in the capital region. Scientists and educators coming together to try and address flooding risks in the Adirondack region. Details on local participation in a national program.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader.
Welcome back. A new art exhibit at Albany International Airport is celebrating the remarkable life and work of Canadian pilot Natalie Gillis, who died in June when her plane crashed in Colony. Natalie's mother sharing what it means for her daughter's adventurous spirit to live on and inspire others. News 10 ABC's Juliana Bruno brings us the story.
Back in June, Natalie Gillis tragically lost her life moments after taking off from Albany International Airport. But her legacy lives on through the incredible images and poetry now on display here at Millionaire.
Well, we have to thank you. No, the honor is ours.
Mary Yap, still reeling from the loss of her daughter, said thank you dozens of times as she met staff from Albany International Airport.
Thank you so much.
Including the first responders who were there when Natalie Gillis' plane crashed.
We're just thankful that we had her for 34 years. She was incredible. She was kind. She was gentle. She was an achiever, and she achieved a great deal.
Those achievements are evident in the breathtaking photos Gillis took while adventuring all over, capturing wildlife in stunning motion from the South Pole to the Arctic.
This was one of her favorites.
Is that right?
It's one of her favorites.
Gillis was committed to environmental conservation, traveling to remote corners of the world to show everyone else a slice of the beauty we don't get to see in our daily lives.
She stepped foot where people rarely step foot, and she flew where people rarely flew. It inspires me to get in the plane or in my regular life, just go out and do the things that you want to do no matter what.
19-year-old Kira Davenport works at Millionaire, and she's also a pilot. She met and spoke with Natalie the day that she left the airport. She often goes to place flowers at the crash site and clean it up. She'll now walk into work each day surrounded by her inspirations, amazing photography.
It's a nice reminder of the person that she was, the places that she went, and her creative spirit, but also her kind of adventurous and carefree spirit in a sense too.
When Gillis flew to these faraway places, she was exploring on the ground too. She would hike, kayak, and snowmobile. She was a wilderness guide. She wrote poetry, selections including this one called Apologies, printed alongside the photos.
It's remarkable that in addition to everything else that she did on these expeditions, she was able to frame and photograph these places and write about them.
Yap says her daughter's energy was infectious and people would naturally gravitate to her beauty and kindness. Her mother is touched by the hundreds who came to the services.
People came from Costa Rica, they came from the Arctic. These are people who Natalie just was kind to, or she touched thousands of people's lives.
Looking around the exhibit with Natalie's closest friends, beaming with pride as she told epic stories.
She is one of very few people who flew a Twin Otter across the Great Passage.
Yap is feeling a whole spectrum of emotions.
Time heals many things, and that's what we have to go on. The whole community are just incredible people. You're wonderful, and we thank you.
The exhibit's director tells us Natalie's work will adorn the walls indefinitely. Reporting at Albany International Airport, Juliana Bruno, News 10, ABC.
What a beautiful life. Thank you, Juliana. Investigators have released the toxicology report of Gillis. Colony police say that she was not impaired by alcohol or drugs at the time of the crash. A preliminary report from federal investigators found there were no obvious signs of mechanical malfunctions at the time of her plane crash either. The plane climbed to 800 feet after taking off from Albany International Airport, rolled 3 times, and then crashed into a wooded area near the library. You can find more on Natalie's story and other ways the community is honoring her on our website, news10.com. The summer travel season is expected to end with record-breaking numbers this Labor Day weekend. When we return, details on how travel officials are preparing to keep some 17 million travelers safe. Plus, the death toll is rising in what's being called the largest listeria outbreak in the U.S. since 2011. We'll have the steps you can take to keep yourself and your family safe.
Well, welcome back. Most areas, unfortunately, are seeing a lot of cloud cover, as you can see from Germantown down in Lasher Memorial Park. Just a little bit of a breeze from time to time, but we are seeing some breaks of blue, and I do think that will be possible through the rest of this evening for areas that unfortunately are stuck in the mostly cloudy skies right now. 69 this afternoon in Albany, 72 in Saratoga, Johnstown sitting at 67, 64 in Pittsfield, and 67 in Hudson. I guess the folks dealing with the clouds, it's kind of a give and take thing, right? Yesterday it was very, very humid with the sunshine. Today, it's very comfortable with mostly cloudy skies. Those dew points in the 50s right now, really not going to be going too awfully higher, at least in the short term. That might start to change as we go into the upcoming weekend. Stubborn clouds, yeah, they're stuck. Basically, Mohawk Valley southbound, brighter skies to the north. Much more of the same tomorrow, unfortunately, and then we'll run the risk for a couple of showers and storms to kick off the holiday weekend. But I'll let you know if the whole weekend is a washout or if we'll get a little bit of dry time with another check of that full storm tracker 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit. Anthony?
Let's hope for the best, Rob. Thank you. As summer winds down, millions are expected to travel this Labor Day weekend. Friday is expected to be the biggest day, according to the TSA, with nearly 3 million travelers taking to the skies. There is some relief if you're planning to drive to your destination. ABC's Lionel Moise reports.
More than 17 million passengers are expected to be screened at TSA checkpoints through Wednesday, an 8.5% increase from last year. And more than 52,000 flights are forecasted today alone, according to the FAA. Atlanta, Chicago O'Hare, and Dallas-Fort Worth expected to be the busiest airports, with major international hubs like JFK busier in the evening. American Airlines is anticipating record travel with 3.8 million customers flying through Tuesday. United predicts more than 2.9 million flyers, Delta 2.8 million. With severe weather moving into the Great Lakes and upper Midwest today, flights could be impacted. And tomorrow, cities from St. Louis to Detroit could see severe weather. The Rockies already seeing snow.
No way this is happening right now in August.
The National Weather Service issued its earliest winter weather advisory in 6 years for Montana. Some good news if you're planning to drive to your destination: cheaper gas. AAA predicts the national average for a gallon of regular unleaded to drop from last year's $3.81. It's currently $3.36. The best times to get on the road: mornings or late evening. Analytics company Enric says the worst time to drive today is from 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. As for where everyone is going, New York City, Seattle, and Los Angeles were the most searched travel destinations, according to Hopper. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
ABC says a 9th person has been confirmed dead as a result of a listeria outbreak linked to Boar's Head Deli Meats. Deaths occurring in South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, and New Mexico, as well as here in New York. 3 people previously died in New Jersey, Virginia, and Illinois from the outbreak, and at least 57 people sickened and hospitalized since the outbreak began back in May. It's said to be the largest listeria outbreak in the U.S. since 2011, with Boar's Head recalling more than 7 million pounds of deli products. The CDC is urging consumers to not eat recalled deli products and to clean any surfaces inside and outside the fridge that may have been in contact with any recalled cold cuts. Listeria can cause fever, confusion, and fatigue, and poses a higher risk of illness for pregnant women, older people, and those with weak immune systems. In Albany, Congressman Paul Tonko is hosting a constituent services workshop today promoting inflation reduction. The workshop highlights how New York residents can access financial benefits from the Inflation Reduction Act through the Empower Plus program. The program helps low and moderate income households save money on energy costs through improvements made to an individual's residence. This event is open to the public, and the location is at Albany Public Library, kicking off at 6 p.m. In health news, local pharmacies are starting to offer vaccines ahead of the fall and winter months. That's when respiratory viruses are typically more common. Hannaford says updated COVID vaccines and seasonal flu shots are available at their in-store pharmacies. Walgreens and CVS are also providing vaccines. Appointments can be scheduled in advance, but many locations offer walk-ins. The FDA granted emergency use authorization for updated COVID vaccines last week. Major turbulence at United Airlines. Flight attendants voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. United recently announced profits are up more than 20%. Workers are now demanding a share of those same gains. United's 28,000 flight attendants have been in mediation with the company for months. They say they want a double-digit pay raise. The median pay for flight attendants is just over $68,000, but a first-year worker can expect as little as $23,000 to $32,000 depending on the airline. Some say they're struggling to feed their families.
We have some people living in cars. It's time to fix that.
We have been in 3 years of negotiations with very minimal progress from a corporation that is making billions on the backs of their frontline workers.
United Airlines said in a statement, quote, "We remain eager to reach an agreement. To be clear, there is no work stoppage or labor disruption." Stray dogs have become a problem in Troy. The Collar City's only animal control officer has been finding abandoned dogs and holding them in a temporary shelter until local leaders can figure out a more permanent solution. Mayor Mantello says the city is under a yearly contract with Mohawk Hudson Humane Society of about $100,000 to take in those dogs. But the Shelter Standards Act of 2022 requiring both shelters and rescues to operate at below capacity. The Mohawk Hudson president and CEO says even though they have 3 years to comply to these standards, they have been at capacity with dogs since the act was signed into law. So this year, the shelter changed its cost agreement with Troy.
We had to specifically do a per pet contract so that our municipalities were only paying us for whatever animals they brought to us.
In response, Troy created a temporary shelter for dogs back in March inside a garage, but the public is not allowed inside. Instead, local rescues are getting these dogs into foster homes, but it's not a quick process. Rescues have saved over 60 dogs from irresponsible owners in Troy alone. Some of them are found with serious medical problems.
We just took a dog from an animal control officer that has a broken leg and a broken pelvis that has been sitting without treatment for an entire month. It's 6 months old. So that is what's going on in our communities that people don't realize is happening.
The mayor says that she hopes to establish a permanent animal shelter for Rensselaer County. To see what dogs are available to adopt along with those that are found lost and stray, head over to NEWS10.com. NASA recently announcing it has selected a team of local researchers to participate in its Earth to Sky Academy this fall. It's a nationwide program that brings scientists and educators together teaching climate communication techniques. Researchers say flooding like this that occurred in Long Lake last year is becoming more common in the Adirondack region. That's why organizers have been working on climate resilience planning. And that work helped launch Team Adirondack into NASA's Earth to Sky Academy.
The way NASA has set up the Earth to Sky program, it's customizable to whatever your biggest problem is with climate change in your local area. When they said, you need to have a customized project for your local area, we were like, we do.
That's why groups like the Wild Center and the Adirondack Watershed Institute have been collaborating with others. That work put Team Adirondack ahead of the curve when applying for NASA's program. They want to help the public.
And what impacts they're seeing on the ground now, and maybe just open up the communication to have discussions about how we as this resiliency network can work towards providing information, education, and then support later on.
Those researchers will need your help in the near future. They'll be holding listening sessions and want to hear from you if you've been impacted, so they can create a climate resiliency roadmap and be prepared for extreme weather events. Now to yesterday's featured race up in Saratoga, the PG Johnson Stakes. The 7 totally justified, with the win turning $2 into over 14. Our photo finish comes from race 9. Luis Saez just getting the 9, just hard, to the wire before the 4, Splashy. One of 4 wins yesterday for Saez, a big upset, turning $2 into $32.80. The opening ceremony for the Paralympics taking place yesterday. How travelers are reacting to the ceremony and what events are taking place today.
Welcome back. A lot of us are unfortunately stuck under the clouds this afternoon, but you might have to squint a little bit. If you look far in the distance there, up in Malta, you're seeing just a little bit of blue on the horizon. So that means the further north you go, the more sunshine you will see this afternoon. Otherwise, it is going to be a mostly cloudy day with occasional breaks of sunshine. 69 in Albany right now. It's 68 in Glens Falls, 67 in Burlington. Remember yesterday, we made it up to 88 degrees, so we are significantly cooler than yesterday afternoon. 74 in New York City, 69 in Boston, and you got to get into central Pennsylvania to even get close to 80 degrees. It's 79 right now in Williamsport. It's a lot more comfortable, too. That dry air coming in on a northeasterly flow. Dew point temperatures in the 40s and low 50s this afternoon. Dew points are slowly starting to climb. Western New York, central New York, and into Pennsylvania. I think we stay on the low side of things, at least for tomorrow, and then that might start to change just a little bit. All right, something we haven't talked about in quite a little while, the tropics. We're actually watching an unorganized area of thunderstorms right now in the middle of the Atlantic. As it moves westward over the next 7 days towards the Lesser Antilles, we are looking at a 40% chance of development. Now, if this is to get organized and it gets a name, it would be named Francine. That is the next one on the list. Back closer to home, we're stuck in the clouds. Notice there's high pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. Really nowhere for these clouds, this moisture to go. So essentially, it's going to be going west to east, and we just happen to be right in its path. So that means more clouds tonight. Maybe more widespread cloudiness for tomorrow as well, with some breaks of sunshine through the day. As we go into the upcoming weekend, I think we'll see a little bit of sunshine. Especially for maybe the first part of the day on Saturday. And then we'll turn mostly cloudy, slightly warmer, definitely more humid. You will feel it when you step out the door Saturday afternoon. In the short term, though, it's feeling comfortable. Today, tomorrow, we're in that kind of comfy or almost refreshing range. And then notice the weekend. Back up into that humid category. Dew points well into the mid-60s. A very strong but moisture-starved cold front moves through on Sunday. That means not expecting a whole lot in the way of rainfall with that. And you'll notice the difference early next week. The dew points will be in that refreshing range by next Monday and Tuesday. As that front moves in on Saturday, we're going to run the risk for a couple of perhaps stronger thunderstorms. Some of them could contain some gusty winds, some small hail. Most of them, though, will remain sub-severe, at least the way things look right now. Here's the Futurecast. Unfortunately, we're kind of stuck in the clouds today. Right through this evening, breaks of sun through sunset. Now, overnight tonight, those clouds kind of expand northward. We're left with mostly cloudy skies into Friday morning. We may get lucky with mostly cloudy skies during Friday afternoon. We may see some breaks of sunshine before all is said and done. And then there's the storm system for Saturday. Unfortunately, a wet start to the weekend. High temperatures for today. Low to mid-70s across the board, very comfortable night tonight. Many of us dropping back into the mid to upper 50s, could be near 50 in Glens Falls, could be a couple of upper 40s in western New England. And then we're back up into the mid to upper 70s again on Friday with some breaks of sun. So today, 75, mix of sun and clouds, cloudy with a few clear breaks overnight tonight, 57. 78 for us on Friday, mostly cloudy with some breaks of sunshine. Saturday, again, mostly cloudy, late day showers and storms, humid, 79. Still humid on Sunday. Can't rule out the risk of a shower, but most of us will stay dry, 84. Breezy, lots of sunshine on Monday, 74. Down to 46 Monday night. It's going to be a chilly start to the day on Tuesday. Partly sunny Tuesday afternoon, 73. And we'll warm up pretty quickly by the middle of next week. We're back into the mid to upper 70s. Don't forget, for the latest Storm Tracker weather forecast, you can always download our app. Check that out on Google Play or the App Store today. Anthony.
Thanks for the update, Rob. The opening ceremony for the 2024 Paralympics Games being held in Paris yesterday. Thousands of athletes from around the world paraded down to the Champs-Élysées Avenue to Place de la Concorde, where French President Emmanuel Macron declared the start of the Games. Attendees came from around the world to support their country's para-athletes.
The opening ceremony was spectacular. It was really intimate. We've come all the way from Australia. Didn't expect anything like that. We do good things in Australia as well, but that was just so crazy good.
The Games were able to use strips of asphalt laid out along the avenue to help athletes in wheelchairs with accessibility. And check this out. A man in Ohio is working to improve how people see skunks. Here's ABC's Jeff Levkulich with the details.
For most people, when they think of skunks, they think that they stink. I'm News 5's Jeff Levkulich, and this is Valentine, and he's trying to change the perceptions of skunks here in Northeast Ohio.
Just like a baby, right on your shoulder. There you go. There you go.
This is the typical reaction Derek Paramore gets, causing a stink wherever he and his pet skunk, Valentine, go.
He likes to be scratched, he does.
The two hope to teach people about skunks in the wild and dispel the stigma and fear many may have about them.
What do most people think when they see a skunk?
Oh my God, is he gonna spray? Oh goodness, he's gonna bite me.
But Paramore, who runs a sanctuary for stinky noodles, says Valentine is constantly winning over hearts.
I let people hold him and I let people touch him.
And teaches people to not just call an exterminator if they see a skunk in their yard.
They just want the bugs out of your grass or something smelly, having your garbage or whatever.
And while Valentine is a comfort animal for Derek, the two together are also helping teach people to not judge a book by its cover.
The stigma of looking different makes a lot of people look at you different.
And Derek says without Valentine, most people are hesitant to approach him.
These guys are very misunderstood, and just like myself, I have a kinship with them because of the difference with people's thoughts, you know, and the stigma behind being somebody who might have a mental health issue or have tattoos and piercings and things that are visible.
And Paramore is not the only one trying to win over Northeast Ohioans when it comes to skunks. On September 14th in North Ridgeville, the 23rd annual Skunk Fest returns to South Central Park.
I think we have had like at least 80 in the past.
Renee Perlstein says the Skunk Fest raises money for Skunk Haven, a local rescue for domestic skunks.
You get to see skunks dressed up, skunks in strollers on leashes. It is like all different colored skunks. It is really cool. Plus we have vendors and rescues and everything.
Perlstein, who showed us two of her pet skunks, says skunks in the wild will not always spray you.
Live and let live. That's their philosophy. They just rather leave you alone. They don't really want to spray you. They only have a certain amount of spray, so they're not gonna, do it on purpose.
Paramore adds they are not easy pets to train, so not just anybody should own one. Now, if you do plan to get a skunk for a pet, they have to be descended by a breeder first, and you can't just take them from the wild. In Brook Park, Jeff Levkulich for News 5.
We've reached the final week of the Saratoga Summer Meet, and your call of the day is from PG Johnson featuring stakes race Frank Mirahati. He has the call.
Second chance, totally justified. Bearing down on her in second. It's been a nice trip for She's Artiz in third. And now Virgin Colada sees that she's in the stretch and starts to roll. Has to get to Totally Justified. Totally Justified. And from dead last, Raining Flowers is coming with a ferocious late kick. Totally Justified just in front of Virgin Colada. Totally Justified. And Manny Franco to win the PG Johnson.
And now your picks of the day at the track. In your race of the day, race number 10, the With Anticipation Stakes, uncaged without caution in Zulu Kingdom. And in race number 6, it's Contrabandist, T-Craft, and Noble Confessor. And your long shot of the day comes in race number 4 with horse number 4, Call Protection. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader.
Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on News 10 ABC starting at 4. As we reported at the top of the show, crews in Gloversville are still cleaning up after an early morning fire at a former manufacturing plant. We'll have the latest on the investigation into what may have caused it. And first responders in Colony awarded some state funding, how it will improve communication between school resource officers. And don't forget, a new leader has been named for the Center for Law and Justice in Albany after the unexpected passing of Dr. Alice Green, how the new leader plans to carry on her legacy.
And in the meantime, we've got a nice, pretty nice day, that is, across the region. It's been a long morning for me, so I'm getting my words mixed up here. 71 already in Albany. It's in the upper 60s to the north. This air, folks, is right out of southern Canada, so a very comfortable day today. Unfortunately, a lot of us are battling a lot of cloudiness. So we'll call a mix of sun and clouds today, 75 in Albany. 78 on Friday, mostly cloudy, a few breaks of sunshine. Watch for a late day shower or storm on Saturday, 79. Mostly dry day on Sunday, 84, and Labor Day itself looking pretty nice with temperatures back into the 70s. So a little bit of everything for everyone this week.
All right. Thank you for having us. Stay with us for 4 o'clock.